Hello everyone, Kacper here, and I'm here with Mazur today. We will be casting today the BSL Continents battles. Zero is going to be handling the back end of everything that we have. He's going to be the ops for today. And hi Mazur.
Hi, Kacper. So we've got quite a few games. We'll be starting with Dark versus MadiNho, PVT. So I think we might go into the game directly. Zero, are we ready? Okay.
Okay. So, hello everyone, nice to see you already in the chat. We are going to have chat open, but we're not going to be looking all the time at it. First time that we're casting together like this, so if you see that it's a little bit janky, that's because of that, but we'll manage, don't worry about that. And what do you think about the matches when you look at the players? How do you feel about Dark, MadiNho, Ultra, Lancer? How active are these players? Are you following them? What do you think?
I think that both lineups are really strong. Of course, we don't see some really top players from South America like Terror, like Dandy. That's really shame because I was looking forward to see their games. Separate from that, I anticipate a really nice series. I think that Ultra versus LancerX might be really interesting. Of course, Tech
Yes.
and Bonit, the recent, well, maybe not recent, you might say king of BSL. So I'm looking forward to see his PvP. It's, you might say, one of the strongest of his matchups. Dwalt and Dienmax also might be really interesting. So we don't have too much mirror matchups, so only two PvPs. That's good because majority of the people don't like PvPs. So
PvP
mirrors.
Yes, mirrors not as interesting. I agree. Although PvP, I think, is more interesting from like the idea of what everybody's doing, how they scout, what they're going to play, how they react, right? Whereas Zerg versus Zerg, very active, a lot of things happening all the time.
Yeah, and I'm totally happy that there aren't any ZVZs because I don't know too much. It would be very difficult to come and to catch those small crucial things that make the difference in the game. So I'm happy that we don't have any ZVZs. I think that some people would like to see some ZVZs, but sorry guys, not today.
Well, we have two Protoss players, so obviously if we were going to be talking about Zerg versus Zerg, it would be a bit difficult to know what's going on from our point of view. Definitely true. Okay.
So first match, we're going directly into the game. It will be a live game at Bonit versus Tech PvP on Ascension. So I'm really I really want to see how Tech will approach it because it's playing against a player like Bonnie, it's a little bit intimidating. So especially that when someone looked at his for example today's stream where he just crashed those Chinese players. I believe that this will be a really nice game.
Bombastic.
Yeah, also another interesting point is best of one, which means that Tech and Bonyth, Bonyth probably wants to play something standard because he probably feels like he's the stronger player, and Tech is most likely going to try to find some way to catch him off guard. Now, map is Ascension. This is the 3-player map, if I remember correctly, and we'll see how it looks because honestly, in a best of one, everything can happen, and also the scouting positions, everything is going to be very close just to figure out how Tech wants to approach this. So I'm interested to see how he's going to do that. All right, so there we go. Oh, and we see there we go. There is the game ready, and we have, let's see. So Bonyth, he's at the 4 o'clock position as the red Protoss, and they want to introduce the other player, Mazur.
And the player in the top of the map is blue Tech. So PvP, we're quite 1 minute 25 seconds into the game. So none of the players see it scouted. This is we need to remember that this map doesn't have a ramp on the entrance. So this fact might dictate how the early game will look like. So we can see that Tech is going for a standard Tech build, whereas Bonnie is doing quite a similar thing. Of course, Bonnie is quite known for his early aggression on maps that doesn't have ramps. So I think we might see his foreground push at the beginning, so into the gates. But let's see. Let's not.
What do you think about the core? Do you see the core position is to blocking the back line of the minerals? Is that so the zealots cannot run around? Is that for the scouting probe only? What do you think?
This might be what you said. So in case of a rush, this might be, of course, when the zealots will show up in the protest base, there's also always a possibility to run around the minerals, and this is of course for block. But I rather think that this is something that both players got. They don't think about it in those terms. They could just use to place the building right there, and that's just that.
I see. So, interestingly enough, we already see that Bonyth was trying to do something in this space. However, the probe was denied, but it did force 2-3 probes to move a little bit and try to block. I think he was trying to maybe put a pylon to make delay the mining, but none of that worked, and now we only see the probe running. From my understanding is the most important point now is to get to scout until the Dragoon is out, and then you probably want to get the probe out. But I see Tech is staying in the base and is trying to stay as long as possible to get as much information. Obviously, you're going to delay your tech, the probe dies, now you can try to decide what you want to do. But there was already second gate, correct? So that was scouted.
But I believe that it was scouted. Whereas from Tech's side, we don't see a second gateway, so this might be quite difficult in the early stage of the game. And probably this is the second gateway. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so what it seems is just a little bit delayed compared to Bonyth. I mean, I don't know if that's going to be a big deal, especially if it's defensive. If Bonyth is aggressive with this, so you have the additional distance to make your additional units. But we do see that, okay, the probe does die now on the scouting. So both players are now playing in the dark, and both players are probably going to want to use one Dragoon or maybe the Dragoon force to move forward and see how many Dragoons the opponent has. Also see if the range is finished, because you could theoretically cancel range and then do something else like DTs. So just seeing the amount of Dragoons is probably something. So we already see Bonyth being aggressive, already putting in his units in an aggressive position.
Yeah, but the only difference that we'll see, so we talked about the fact that Bonnie has a little bit, the second gateway was a little bit earlier for Bonnie, so, but it won't do a huge deal in terms of that there's still the walking distance between both bases. So when the Bonnie will attack, Yeti should have similar amount of dragons. Oh, and now we see, yeah.
Okay, good control. Unfortunately, okay, but both are trading similarly. There is not that big of a deal. Like, Tech is actually getting a better end right now, but has to be very careful. Doesn't want to actually lose that one Dragoon, and that Zealot is probably still going to find some scouting. If the Dragoon dies, the Zealot is worth it. If the Dragoon doesn't die, it's kind of worth it, I think, because the Scout is still very valuable.
Yeah, that's true. We need to remember that at the beginning of the battle, Yeti had 3 Dragoons and a Zealot, whereas Bonnie had 4 Dragoons and a Zealot. But in Tech, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. And at the exact moment of the attack, 2 additional Dragons popped out. So
yes. It was close. It was close. If the Dragoon was 10 seconds later, then it would be actually a better trade for Bonyth. I think that right now you can see that Tech is actually up in supply, and it's actually noticeable. Nice high ground control to try to get the first shots, and yes,
nice,
very good. Bonyth, very aggressive with this. That was not afraid of going outside because he knew he would probably get a good hit, and he was expecting Tech to go that route. So that's a smart move from Bonyth, expecting this. Now, both are going to Gate Reaver, so this is now, I believe, the moment where it all comes down to the Reaver control and who will control the Reaver better. Now, how do you like to control the Reaver? Do you want to just shoot the Dragoons to guarantee damage and then run away? Or do you want to trade against the Reaver?
I would prefer to kill the Dragoons. If that's of course dependent on the situation.
Oh, another bad trade for Tech.
I'm really surprised that Tech is picking those fights up ramp. It's really surprising.
Yeah. I don't think he expected Bonit to be there at all. This is really bad right now because right now his Reaver could get sniped. He should really only attack when the Reaver is spawning.
Exactly.
Still a lot of damage. Now the Dragoons have split it, so they're not going to take all the damage. Oh god, that's such a bad engagement for Tech. Unfortunately, because of those two fights that he took down the ramp, he put himself in this position. Bonyth just knew pretty well where to be ready for him, and
we see it.
Yeah, I can't play like that PvP. I can't play that. If I do that, I lose all my Dragoons and I die.
Yeah, that's basically so. Not with exception to the first fight, everything was executed perfectly for Bonit. The second fight, catching the guns twice, up ramp, and then making this huge advantage because he had, I believe, he had 7 Dragoons versus 4 Dragoons or 5 Dragoons in a Reaver that just popped out. So it didn't have
Scarabs, and it was at the entrance. So the problem is that you couldn't even use the probes to drill through because it would be extremely slow timing to block it. Because you probably could do it, but Bonyth probably would see it, react, and just move backwards, and he wins that in how long you lose mining. So very, very hard for Tech that loss. But one thing I do want to say, so this is one thing I saw. Bonyth likes to go with his Dragoons because he knows that in the worst case scenario, if he doesn't like the fight, he just runs away. So he can do that. With a Zealot, you're going to lose the Zealot, but with the Dragoons, you can always run away. So nice game. And it frustrates me because when Bonyth does it, it makes sense, but I can't do it myself when I'm...
And it looks so easy, right?
Yes.
It's like, okay, he did this, he did that, and everything worked. You trade that on ladder, and
I'm dead. Yes.
Yeah. True.
Well, however, the one thing I will say for Tech, he really nicely caught the first fight. He actually had the Dragoons right in time, and he was up in supply. So if he followed up right away with his army to get the high ground and stayed on the high ground, he would be the one who would take that first initial hit. So he did actually pretty well. I gotta say that it was pretty nice from him, even though
basically those are the 2 small mistakes. So those 2, because Tech even didn't fought too long up the ramp. It was like 1 or 2 exchanges of fire between both players, and just Bonit killed 1 Dragoon at 1 exchange, and the second, and another, and that was enough. Basically, at this early stage of the game, it was enough.
How do you feel when you lose like 1 or 2 Dragoons at the early stages to put a a shield battery at the entrance to have a buffer for the Reaver, for potentially saving it, or for the shuttle, for anything else? Like, if you know that you're down these Dragoons and you both are on 2 gates, or maybe the opponent is on more gates, how do you feel about putting a shield battery?
Shield batteries are great. You can use it, but on one hand they're great, but on the second, it makes it more difficult. In this situation, if Tech would go for the shield battery, it would be more difficult for him to move out, because probably Bonnie would have an arc in front of his main, and it would make more a huge deal. It would be more difficult to pass that arc, even with a Reaver. So batteries are great, but not in every situation.
Understood. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I think we're going to jump to the next game, and in a second we'll figure out which one that is. So it's going to be Dark versus Modinio on Wavelet. So, guys, let's go to that one. Modinio, very strong Terran. Dark, I know he's a very aggressive Zerg, so I actually want to see how that is gonna go. Okay, do you want to start first introducing the first player?
Okay, so we've got the red Terran player. That is MadiNho.
Yes.
Yeah, on the top right, in the top right corner of the map, whereas in the bottom right corner of the map, we have Dark as the blue province. So.
All right. So Wavelet, this is a map that I've only seen a few times, mostly in BSL. I haven't been playing ladder myself because I didn't have much of a time myself for gaming. But I have seen a few games in this map. So PvT here, I was interested in the third. It seems like it's a bit difficult to manage for a Terran. From the games I've seen, it wasn't that easy. Turns had a bit of an issue with it. However, MadiNho is a very strong Terran, and obviously he might play something different. But how do you feel about the third? Is it something that Terrans here have to think about, or is just normal, they should play normally and just...
I had similarly very not too much of experience on that map, but looking at the map, I feel that the third for Terran is really problematic. It's far away from the second expansion, so I believe that this might trigger some kind of two-base timing attacks. Of course, MadiNho is a really interesting player because I remember him playing a really wide range of different strategies. He was able to go standard FD, expansion, timing push, but I also remember that he tried some Marine Medics with tanks pushes against Protoss players, but it's really interesting. So this shows how flexible is this player.
Yes, I remember myself as well, so I do agree that I've seen him play, especially if you catch any of his casts when he's just playing, you can see that he plays pretty much everything. He plays even every race because he likes to play 2v2 with his friends, and he's pretty good at all of them. So I can definitely see that. I am thinking, however, that the main reason why I like for the Protoss when the Terran tries to take the third is the massive impassable terrain, the high grounds where you can just fly shuttles from and try to drop from them. You don't get a lot of warning before they arrive, so it's very easy to you to catch the Terran off guard. However, in this game, what we're seeing right now is a Zealot first. Now, personally, I always have this problem with the Zealot first, is how do I do damage without losing the Zealot? Because it always feels like the Terran will always run away, will always move the Marines through the choke, and the Zealot only loses health, it does nothing, unless I already have a Dragoon. So how do you feel about the Zealot? What is the goal of the Zealot?
I would say that this is something that puts pressure on the Terran player at the beginning, and sometimes with lesser players it might cause a Terran to forget a supply or do some kind of other mistake. So initially it's a pressure tactic, but also it's a scout, because he exactly knows how much range does he have if he's building a bunker, and this constant pressure means that quite often the Terran player can't move out. Oh, and here we see a vulture
goes through. It was scouted. The Dragoon had vision of it, so it seems like Dark is happy with just waiting for the second Dragoon to block the ramp, but is it going to be in time?
Might not be.
No. So now the scouting is on the side of the Terran. The Terran is going to get scouted. He's going to get a few probes, but now I always think that this is very painful because even those few probes, you already noticed them really quickly. That's 3, right?
3, yeah, 3 probes less.
And Gas is also mining with 1 probe. So if Dark doesn't fix that right away, he might have an issue with Gas very soon.
Yeah, and it looks like Dark even cut some probes, so because he is 4 down again versus the Terran player, so that might indicate that he cut some probes to make the Nexus faster, probably.
Yeah, so one thing that I always thought about when I was moving out with the first Dragoon is that if you have the Zealot, you wanted to try to put as much push as possible. However, the Marines were pushing out the Zealot, so yeah, it wasn't very easy for that to get all it grouped up. Oh, he's gonna try to dive on the tank. I don't know if that's gonna work. MadiNho very quickly realizes that he has to go back and only takes a little bit of hull damage on the tank. It's perfectly fine. I don't know if Dezal managed to scout that it was only one factory. That might have been good. If he saw it.
I think he didn't scout anything. Because
No.
look where the second factory is. There's no chance that Zilla scouted it.
Oh, and already mines are being placed. Is Dark gonna dive on it because he was trying to move the 4 Dragoons? No, okay, he's backing up. It seems like he wanted to maybe just get the tank out to try to snipe it. However, these Dragoons are starting to be really hurt, so I would be kind of worried of staying here too long. Because if a siege happens now, okay, it seems like he's fine. He's gonna move out in time. Just not to lose like 2 Dragoons suddenly all together, because then a push can instantly end the game. Alright, so
I agree. So basically this turned it out into a standard PvT. Both players have expansions. We see 2 factories from MadiNho, and I believe that Dark is also added 2 additional gateways.
And a robotics, so he's trying to play this more of a standard game for now. Let's see if he's... Now the question is he going to go for any kind of pressure like a Reaver? Or maybe even a Shuttle and Bulldog, any kind of deal, like something to make the Terran slow down, basically? Or is he just going to try to speed up his own production? So maybe a 3rd base, maybe very fast tech. Now, we see turrets, so no Academy just yet. So I guess MadiNho has to at least respect the possibility that he doesn't know what the Protoss is doing.
Yeah, that's totally right. You're right, and we can see that MadiNho is trying to, and he managed to slide next to the Dragoons. So, and we saw that the speed is nearly finished. So this might be a huge deal if Dark anticipated this, and
he didn't see it. He only knows that something happened because he has 3 Dragoons still in the natural, so he didn't actually see the vultures running out. So if this even denies the 3rd, I think that's more than enough, right?
Yeah. I think that Dark might think about some kind of drop because he didn't know what's happening. There was no indication of the tech that MadiNho is going for, so he might be preparing for that kind of any potential drop play or a play like we see right now.
Okay, nice wall. I see. Yeah, the probe did survive, so I think the 3rd is on location. Very important for Dark to not have that delayed, especially because he only has pure Dragoons right now. He doesn't have anything like a Reaver or anything, so he needs something to grow as fast as possible. We already see MadiNho moving out. That's 5 tanks. 5 tanks. He did lose a little bit of health on those vultures, and he has some Dragoons in the back. So he might delay the additional vultures that are coming in. Sieging already. No observer there in position, so yes, Dark is going to take some damage. And there is a shuttle. Oh, that shuttle really needs to be back home to help with that push. Deal with it.
Yeah, I was searching for the shuttle because we can see that Dark did made 4 Zealots. One died at the beginning of the game. So I was searching for this kind of stuff because at the beginning the Zealots don't do too much damage. Oh my god, and those 4 Dragoons.
Yeah, that was very valuable to have the flank at the same time while you were dropping and pushing from the front. Now there's only the drop and the Dragoons. The Dragoons are not moving just yet. Okay, they're gonna move now. And the Zealots are gonna drop. The 3 tanks at the back are shooting at the Zealots, and the Dragoons are gonna get the front tanks. However, now you will go back.
Yeah, I feel that Dark should go back. Yeah, so the execution wasn't bad. And see, if Dark wouldn't lose those 4 Dragoons,
He would crush it.
Or he could crush it, or the other way around. So basically, it could be. I mean, those 4 Dragoons could stop any reinforcements coming from the base, and we can see 6 facts.
Makes a lot of sense. when you kill that many units, those 4 Dragoons, the shuttle already saw that it was just Zealots, so there is no fear of anything like a possible counter with a Reaver that's going to completely shut you down. Oh, and now gets into the 3rd as well, which is a problem because on this map you have to know how to pylon block that ramp. Everybody has failed it who I've seen till today. Everybody doesn't know how to do it, and I don't blame them. It's a new map. Oh,
That was my thinking. There is a pylon block. How those vultures came through? And now I can see how.
even the Dragoons can get in.
That's what you call a wall. That's what you call a wall.
Now what I'm worried about is that when you are killing those vultures, Modinio is not pushing at the same time, because I was worried that he could actually push at the front at the same time, and then those Dragoons have to go all the way around. That's a recipe for disaster with mines. So we'll see. I mean, there is not that little. There's enough gateways, but in a few minutes, that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, especially that Dark isn't going for any kind of tech.
Yes.
We don't see a second gas extractor in the expansion, in the natural. No, not in the second base. So this is pure gateway army, and even if he will manage to survive this push of MadiNho, it will be very difficult later on in the game.
When they upgrade Sziky for the Terran, yes. I wonder, however, if MadiNho is pushing a little bit too soon, because that army he has does not look that big. If it's crushed once, the Protoss can get back into the game and take control over it. Especially because I see MadiNho now, we see he was taking a 3rd. That means that there is going to be a downtime if you manage to crush this army. So that's a big army from the Dragoons. It's a decent amount of Zealots. If you catch once this army, you might be able to get back into the game. I am worried about the tech, though. The fact that he doesn't have tech is going to be an issue. Right, he's going to scout the tanks. I think they're in a very good moment to jump on the tanks. They're alone. There's no vultures. You have vision on them. I think they're free. If you go now with the Zealots...
Yeah, this would crush him, but he is trying to defend his expansion.
Yeah. Okay, so that will give time for MadiNho to get his vultures in position. And unfortunately, I don't see this really being that good for Dark. I mean, he's gonna basically deny the actual attack, but he's trading Zealots against vultures, and we kind of know that. Oh, nice mine. That's good for Protoss. I always thought when people tell me that they have a problem with vultures and mines, I say, no. Terrans have problems with their own mines. That's how you play Protoss.
Okay, we have 6 gateways versus 6 factories. That doesn't look good for the Protoss player.
Yes. Unfortunately, that delay of the 3rd, the loss of the probes, all of that is now is starting to catch up for Dark. Now you're going to feel it.
But the supply limit is relatively straightforward in this kind of situation. In this state of the game, a 15-20% bigger supply limit for the Protoss player is totally anticipated and something natural.
But with tech,
yeah,
right? Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, let's see the mine drags. That's 3 shuttles. That's a lot of shuttles. The mines are still going to connect with the Dragoons. However, a lot of tanks have died. This is not bad. Now you have to move probably back because you don't want to be trading the Dragoons. But that doesn't exactly see this, so he's going to go a little bit too far. And now that army supply, is now looking not great for Dark. He's 3 bases against 3 bases, and obviously at that point that's a problem. +1 is done for the Terran. That +1 is noticeable. +2 hurts. +3 you get scared. So basically this is noticeable already. I feel like if Dark managed to get those good trades at the beginning, maybe he could get back into it. Right now, I'm feeling it's gonna get harder and harder and harder.
Yeah, especially that both players have 2 expansions, and Dark just lost a lot of his units trying to catch that Terran army.
Well, the thing I am looking at is that Dark is still trying, but I would wonder, like, because if I would be in this position, I would not exactly know what my long-term plan is. So maybe he's just trying to crush the attack and then do something. Nice, those cannons are actually going to get rid of all of the vultures, so no losses of any probes. He does kill that attack. He is kind of at the same supply, no tech, very hard position. He has a Stargate, but nothing coming yet out of it, so no tribunal yet. I mean, I think MadiNho, unless MadiNho makes a really bad engagement, it's going to be almost impossible now for Dark to come back. I think you have to sacrifice a decent amount of army as MadiNho, because otherwise, even if you would have an Arbiter at this point, one Arbiter is not enough at this point. I think like one Arbiter with the same supply just doesn't cut it. You need to have that 20 or 25, 30 supply up, and then the Arbiter when the upgrades start. And obviously more bases. Oh, two Stargates. Wait, is this gonna be carriers? Does he have time?
I don't see the +1 isn't spinning. We don't see how. Oh my god, I forgot how. Oh, we don't see bacon. My god,
the bacon.
For a moment, I forgot the name of that building. Oh my god. I shouldn't.
You need to play more.
I shouldn't say that I'm a pro player if I don't know building names. Sorry, guys.
So I'm wondering, like, if there's no free bacon, if there is no arbiter tribunal, and there are two Stargates, because it's not gonna be scouts, right? I mean,
no.
You're not that crazy.
No, I don't. I feel that he forgot about tribunal.
Or maybe he forgot that he had already one Stargate. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. So we got tribunal. We have enough gas for two arbiters right away. So that's not bad. However, yeah, MadiNho's gonna push out. He already has a vessel. You're not gonna get enough energy, right, for the stasis before this hits.
No,
the map is too slow. The map is small.
To be honest, I think that the arbiters themselves won't pop out of the Stargates.
You're even more pessimistic than I am.
No, not really.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh my god. And look how. Okay, guys. This what you're hearing right now is the pain of the Protoss players.
My soul is crying. My soul is crying. No.
So yeah, this is what happens when if this happens to you in the game, you have this moment where your APM drops to 0 for like 2-3 seconds. That's your brain trying to process what you just did. So I mean, it's very difficult for that. The only thing I have to say that is interesting is that he has only 58 probes, and he's going to be maxed out. So his army is going to be fairly strong, even though, oh my god, 2-2 is done. Okay, never mind, I didn't say anything. I don't think it's going to matter.
Dark has only +1 upgrade on his ground army, so that just won't cut it. But to be frank and to be honest, usually in PvT the upgrades will kick in relatively late for the Protoss players.
Yep.
So
you want the tanks to do damage to the Terran himself. Yes, that's this.
Yeah. Oh, will he save it?
Yeah. Now watch MadiNho.
Kudos.
MadiNho is gonna just send like 20 vultures or something, or send a dropship. He's gonna kill it. Like, I can feel it. Okay, that's a massive army. We have High Templar, so.
Yeah, but did I see just 3 Stargate arbiters?
I think so. Yeah. 1.
Oh my god.
2.
Oh,
he forgot. He forgot about that one. Okay, that's why.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, when you are playing a game that you know that's fairly important, it is common to get stressed. Okay, very nice moving out also with. I don't understand how MadiNho understands that he can move out with like vultures and Goliaths only, and then scout with that, kill an observer, and if he sees the army, he just runs away and lays mines. Like, I would never think of that as a Terran. I would consider tanks, I need the tanks.
I'm really looking for the game management now, because both players are maxed out, and this kind of terrain favors that Terran player a lot. There isn't any open spaces, so there's close to none possibility to do a flank. So this might be very difficult for the Protoss player. The only hope is recall, but probably the arbiters won't have the energy. And the second hope will be a huge stasis.
I feel that recall is more likely to work. Oh yeah, I told you. I told you he's gonna make it. You can see it in his streams. When this doesn't work, he gets frustrated, and he's going to get that Nexus even if he loses the game for it. Oh man, that's MadiNho.
But look at the army placement.
Yes.
Low ground. I don't know how
it's defended. It's no recall. You recall the zealots on the tanks. You recall the zealots on the tanks. That's what I would do, because at that point, and that's the only thing I think would do damage. You don't attack that, right? You don't, or you just counter. But the problem with the counter is that you don't have enough bases as the Protoss, right? If you have 5-6 bases and you do a counter, you lose 2 bases. Okay, that's kind of not great, but it works. I don't think it works this way.
Yeah, in this situation, Protoss player doesn't have an additional production center, whereas the Terran player, MadiNho, has the base on the left. So in a case of a counter like this, you can always replace the buildings right there. Yeah,
I mean, I understand though what Dark was thinking. He didn't see any way to engage the army, so he decided I'm gonna pick one of the 2 bad decisions. And
you know, he could fake it, because the key point here is to make Terra's army move. But it didn't work out as it should. I didn't see any statuses, so
I think AB was hit the arbiters, because I didn't see energy on the arbiters. I was thinking about doing basically what you're saying, but leaving one arbiter at home to get it ready for a recall. Because, I just don't see any other options. Just recall on the main and try to maybe somehow find that. But it was a very difficult call anyway, right? Oh, that's not... I don't like it too much, because that feels like a bit of a waste of stasis when you don't have any army around. And you're really gonna need that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, although looking at the supply, maybe you won't. I mean, at this point, you're in such a hard position as the Protoss that, it's gonna. I do have to say, I've been watching this game as basically watching it unfold. I didn't even know exactly when the 4th and 5th base was taken by MadiNho at the top left. I know he took them because they were there, but I didn't even actually record in my brain. So while everything was going on, he was constantly thinking about, continuing his macro and getting bigger and bigger. So, very good. Oh, we got a nuclear silo, but unfortunately, no, it's not. You're not going to be that fun, Mr. MadiNho. Okay, you are going to be. MadiNho. All right, there we have
Okay. Let's see it.
MadiNho heard about Radley and he. Okay.
Oh, GG.
Okay, we did not manage to see that, but definitely MadiNho enjoys the same kind of style of playing like Radley, so he wanted to also nuke. He had room for that, right? He knew that he was basically way ahead, so.
That's true. Till I would say the key point, one of the key points of the game was when Dark lost those goons on the mines. It was
the Forge Goons.
Yeah, right? That was one thing for sure. And the second, when additional bases were denied, like the fort.
Yes.
And I felt that Dark had a little bit. He should have a little bit more gateways. He had 7 or 8 gateways in total. Whereas
And it was no tech, right? It was just pure gateway.
Till some point, and the tech was relatively late. So that I think cost him the game. Although I must say that there were quite really interesting fights. There was a point that I thought that okay, this might take quite a while until some player will get the advantage, but it ended up with Mad taking a huge advantage at the beginning, or rather in the middle of the game.
Yeah, I mean, also MadiNho is a very, very strong Terran, and he, if I remember correctly, in BSL he was maybe a season, 2 seasons ago, he was also doing really, really well. So you obviously see that he scouted with a vulture first. He killed a few probes and he knew what he was playing against. He knew how to continue with the 6 factories after he killed a few units. He knew that that was going to be very difficult to stop. While that was happening, he did not forget about the 3rd, and he did continue his own upgrades. So generally, he was not missing anything, right? Even the drop, which was more of it was a bit of a meme, but it still does the job, right? So it seems like he had everything from the beginning figured out. So very good game from him. Dark did play weaker, but it was still a strong showing, at least with the engagements. He had a few good engagements. The lack of vision, I think, with the observers did cost him those tribunes. So anyway.
Okay. We're going to the 3rd game. We will see Ultra versus LancerX, Maharaja, also known as Maharaja.
Yes, Mr. Maharaja himself. Lancer is one of those players that I really, really like because he's very funny when he streams. Even if I don't understand what he's saying, he's still funny. So, okay, let's see. So we got Mr. Maharaja, which is going to be Lancer at the bottom right location in the white Protoss. And his opponent is going to be the blue Terran Ultra, top right. And this is map. Wait, which map was
it? It is Revolver. It's
Revolver.
Blue. Yeah.
So Revolver. Okay, there we go. Revolver. So, okay, another map that I feel is going to be interesting. Wavelet. We already were talking about the fact that turns might have a hard time. We saw that. Well, MadiNho dealt with it pretty well. Let's see here, because this is, if I remember correctly, the one with the eggs, correct? The Revolver is the one that has the eggs.
Yeah, the 4 eggs next to the first expansion.
So there's a lot of bases in this map that feel like they are very far away, I feel like, but they are not that far away. You can actually take very quickly some bases, and if you control sort of the middle area, you're controlling actually quite a lot of possible, like, run-bys. There are obviously some back that you have to control, but I believe this is a map where you could expand fairly quickly.
I think that Lancer might have thought that this is some kind of other map because look
the gateway position.
The gateway position, right? I think that and whoa, he's doing some kind of pressure. He's going 1 gate pylon without an extractor. That's
he gets the first scout, which is very important as well. He's gonna try to delay the barracks, of course. If you're gonna be doing any zealot push, you want to even slow it down a little bit.
But look, he will try to do some pressure with the initial zealot, but the gateway placement will cause that some delay. So Lancer at the beginning of the game is a little bit behind, taking into consideration the type of strategy he decided on.
Oh, I am more interested how much is it going to impact the mid and late game when he has to make his city, because right now that feels weird. Maybe he can figure out a way to put it all in its place, but it feels a bit off. Alright, we got the core and the gas, so it seems like it's going to be 1 zealot first, 2 zealots maybe. At least the probe did find the turret on the first scout, so you know what the turret is doing. You can see that the turret is very smartly protecting the mineral line and the depots and kind of the factory with his first building placements. But the factory maybe...
It's a little bit far, I would
Yes,
say.
a
But
little
probably with Ultra Micro it will be okay. Okay,
Let's see.
Let's see.
Okay, is he gonna lose one?
Oh.
No. Okay.
Nice.
Very nice. I don't know how turns even can do that. In my opinion, that's not fair. But they can do that. Is he gonna lose the SC? No. Okay. And now you don't want to take more damage on the Zealot, so you're gonna push out. Oh. Oh. That could have been really bad if the Zealot glitched.
I must say that really nice work on Ultra's side.
Yes.
And good that Lancer was able to save that initial Zealot.
This probably is a bad idea. Yeah. That's you can sort of expect the SCVs to stay there if you have if as an SCV in your main, because the SCV in your main can scout that you are still sending units. So this is one of the biggest problems of the first Zealots. If they don't clear the SCV, you're telegraphing everything you're doing, right?
From this point we see a standard follow-up, so Lancer is going for range, and Ultra is going for an expansion. And Maharaja also. So we can see 500 minerals, so the Nexus was a little bit late.
What do you think about how the natural looks for the Terran? Is there any way to put pressure that is going to be annoying for the SCVs to repair? Because you have not only two sides, but this is actually kind of far away from everything, isn't it?
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't know.
How many kills? One kill. Okay, so.
To be honest, we're seeing the whole map, and we didn't notice that vulture. That's.
Yes. I gotta say that it still was not as effective maybe as the vulture that MadiNho had. So one kill, but still scouts, correct?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Most important for me always is especially at this stage when you don't have like your observers or your scans, having the ability to somehow get a unit in and still confirm, okay, this is not an all-in, this is just a normal expansion. Do I have to protect me against myself against DTs very quickly or something like a Reaver? Now we can see Armory, so Ultra can very safely do this. He doesn't even need detection right now, so very nice to have that Vulture in Scout. Okay, so the expansion is coming up for LancerX. Unfortunately, it is a bit delayed compared to Ultra. Let's see how Lancer wants to continue. What is follow-up is going to be? Is it going to be an additional expansion? Is it going to be Suppression Reaver? Okay, there we got it.
With speed shuttle, so
Ooh.
we could see later in the middle game the new meta, you might say, with speed shuttle drops into their main. So that might be a really interesting option for the late mid game.
Some people I think call it the Polish recall. I don't know why it was called Polish recall, but yeah, I've heard about it. I don't know why.
No, I didn't. Okay.
And the question is, how long do you wait? Do you wait for the speed to finish, or do you go right away with it and just?
If the speed was ordered, or rather, if he selected speed in the same moment when the support bay popped in, then he should have speed more or less in the same moment when the Reaver will come to the turn space.
Okay.
A little bit later, but it depends. You can see it's 60% done.
Okay, so that's fairly good for Lancer. However, if I remember correctly, yes, we did see some Goliaths, not too many yet. So that's going to be a bit of a difficulty for the micro. I'm guessing you want to drop the Zealots and just use the Reaper from a distance to kill whatever you can. You don't want to commit with it because you lose everything.
Okay, let's see where. Okay.
Nice scan.
Yeah, Ultra scanned the Reaver, so he knows, so he can be prepared for the potential drop in the mineral lines. Okay, let's see how good is Maharaja's micro.
There's the speed. Oh, and we see that the Goliath did start attacking D.
Oh
what
my God!
What was?
What?
I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know what was that. I was looking at the Reaver at this shuttle flying down, and I thought he wanted to escape.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That the execution was far from.
I would say, look, the execution
Good.
was like the placement of the first gateway for some reason. That's like
yeah.
that was very weird. I think he wanted to bust, but if you wanted to bust, you want to bust from the other side, right? Not from the low ground, from the ramp.
Yeah.
Oh.
At the beginning, I thought that he was trying, moving forward, attacking with his ground army to make Ultra look at that attack at the natural expansion and then do something in the main. But he did it the other way around, and that backfired.
I mean, the biggest issue I think for Lancer right now is that if you manage to kill a Reaper that cleanly, like you don't lose anything, you know that you have a very good window of, okay, I'm fine for the next 5 minutes, nothing is gonna kill me. Like, I can do whatever I want, I can expand, I can take up, I can upgrade, because you know how much of an investment that is. And the third is now coming up from Lancer. It's going to be sooner, I think, than the Terrans. However, that doesn't necessarily mean much, right?
Yeah, but at this stage of the game, the C limit of the Protoss player should be bigger than the Terran player. And here we have, they are head-to-head in the limit, so that might be quite problematic if Ultra will decide to attack.
Yeah, also I think we did see the amount of factories. I think it was 7, so that seems like it's going to be a very committed push with... I don't see a starport yet, so probably just 1-1. And I don't know, if you can maybe delay this with a Reaper, like slowing down the push and killing maybe a few vultures, you might be able to slow it down enough. But seeing the supply is very scary because it should not look that way, not even close.
Especially that he lost his first Reaver. The threat of a Reaver drop quite often gives the time for the Protoss player to make an additional expansion, make additional gateways, create a bigger army, so macro up. But in this case, it will be very difficult.
Maybe, let's see, I don't know exactly what the tech is apart from the Reavers. I think it's just the Reavers right now, so that means we don't have... we don't yet have... We have the Templar Archives, but we don't see yet any Arbiters. Okay, the Reavers, are they going to get any shots? Any good shots? One shot. It wasn't that good. Just one tank, and the Dragoons are not going to go full. Okay, you're going to lose that Reaver, you're going to kill something, but the Dragoons need to get out of there.
Okay, the Zealot reinforcements made them. Okay.
But the Dragoons are all dead, which means you do need to rebuild that.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a even exchange. It's worse for the Terran because you don't want to lose the tanks, and the Dragoons build faster, they cost less. So that's good for Lancer.
And the Protoss player has an additional expansion.
Yes.
So that's the... I would say that is one of the most important factors.
Yeah, I can see. I definitely can see that. So the few probes are going to be killed here. It's nothing major, I think. That was probably like 5, maybe 6 probes. Okay, so the fact that you do kill the first push generally gives you a lot of room, right? Because any attack that is going to come after that is probably going to be either weak or is going to come very late. And the fact that you also have High Templars right now, also the Observers are going to give a lot of information. That's just 2 tanks. So.
I'm really surprised that Ultra is moving out of 2 tanks, 3, 4, probably 4 tanks. It's a really small army, and at this point he can't lose any more tanks.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, especially, he only has 2 machine shops. So the interesting thing is that small ramp is a problem right now for Lancer, because he did not anticipate this. He did not have an observer in position before to see the move out. So now he either has to time correctly and attack from both sides, or he has to have something like shuttles, because otherwise he's gonna lose everything just trying to kill vultures that are there to block. So unless you get a massive storm, but vultures can run pretty quickly. Okay, let's see, because now going for this third is not as good, because the ramp is a bit bigger here. You can probably deal with it. Is he gonna snipe the High Templar? nice block. That was a Zealot that was actually blocking the Vulture from being able to go down. And he's losing Vultures now. Lancer might win this now. Oh, don't lose the shuttle. Okay, so he's gonna lose 1, 2, maybe 3 tanks now. I think so, yeah. 3 tanks should fall. There are very few reinforcements coming from Ultra, so I think with Zealots reinforcements, if you back up now and you just get with the Zealots, I think you can bust this. But if you lose the Dragoons, then that probably is a better fight for Ultra. Lancer is still going for it now for the small Cho. Just Dragoons versus tanks.
Lancer is a very aggressive player, and you can see why he has a reputation like that. So if he would move back, regroup, and then attack, probably he would be able to clean out the turn. But instead he decided to push, and this doesn't look good for our opponent player.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he did actually sort of come back into the game when he did manage to grab those first tanks.
Yeah, on the other hand, the current player didn't expand any further.
Yeah.
So this is a semi-all-in. If this won't work, then the economy from the third expansion will kick in a moment. And we see that there are only 5 tanks left.
So this is sort of losable for Ultra more than winnable for Lancer because of lack of money, right?
Yeah.
From this point of view. You can always lift theoretically a command center, but the downtime of doing that would already be pretty huge.
I must say that I'm really surprised at the good execution here, because it was the river drop was just in time. The next wave of Protoss army just pop out of the gateways, so it was just enough to push back a little bit the current player, but gave LancerX additional minutes or other seconds that he needed.
Yeah, I am kind of not. I don't want to say who's gonna win at all in this game because it's so difficult to now guess. Like if Lancer loses a base because he's not able to defend it, then I would say probably Ultra wins. But if this continues all the time like this, then maybe Lancer wins. I don't know. It's very difficult for me to call.
Those mines were so close.
Yeah. Anytime you see that, you're wondering whether the mine is going to actually activate, because for me it's a bit of a mystery how close you actually have to be depending on diagonals and if it's closer. But yeah, if he makes one mistake he can hit all of those. However, the same thing. Oh, nice vulture catch. Oh yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's yeah. Again, I don't know exactly this. It feels like Ultra should be winning because he's up in supply, but the money is almost dried up completely in the main. The second it dries up in the main, how many factories can you support? It's like 4?
Probably if we do tanks and Goliaths, probably 4.
Oh, the Reaver.
Oh, this looks bad. Or good, depends.
Depends
for
for
who are you rooting? For who are you rooting?
I don't. It's so hard to tell who's going to get it because
I like this kind of game. So basically, you see that one player has a slight advantage, but to be honest, you're not sure who will win. Because there are some games that, okay, the guy built up his advantage, and from each 20, 30 seconds, each minute into the game, he knows that someone will win. It just takes time to prove it. Oh my god!
Those 2 mines did explode eventually. Oh, okay. Unfortunately, we at this point we do kind of know because Ultra did take his third. He is finally killing the third of Lancer. He did break there. So at this point, it is going to be Ultra who's going to be taking this because it looked pretty nice for a while, but Lancer is going to wait. That's 2 Terrans. Is that 2 Terrans already winning against Protoss? And I mean that's cool, but
and we've got a GG.
GG.
That was a really nice game. Really nice to the eye.
Very chaotic.
Forth.
Very chaotic. A lot of things happening. I was not able to follow everything. there was a little bit too much stuff going on because you had attacks from one side, you had attacks from another side, a lot of mines that I think Zero caught every single mine explosion that did damage, so very on point with everything.
I think that Lancer had a huge advantage after the first fight when he destroyed so many tanks. The problem was that he didn't have the scout. I didn't see Ultra moving out with 6 tanks and a control group of vultures. Basically, Lancer had 2.5 group of units.
It was
or
2
even
tanks.
More.
It was 2 tanks at the beginning. Just 2 tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the beginning it was just 2.
Yeah. So that was that one thing, that slight thing that decided about the result of the match, you might say.
Yeah, but did you catch that the gateway position was not a problem for Lancer? He fixed it. He basically built around it. Like very, very nice. So I really enjoyed it because I was looking. I could not tell you which gateway was the first one after like 10 minutes of the game because they were pretty well done. So
yeah,
very cool.
Okay.
The end. Remember that the river that Lancer lost at the beginning was like a really bad problem for him, right? So. I even thought that would be very difficult to manage, but okay, not bad at all, not bad at all.
Yeah, so basically 2-1 for Europe as for now. MadiNho and Bonit winning for Europe and Ultra winning for South America. Okay.
Ultra, pretty good player. I mean, he has also been playing with a lot of the guys from Seoul, so he practices with really hard opponents. And you can see that. I remember when Ultra was not, somebody who would be on my radar, somebody who I would remember him, but I wouldn't think, oh, this is a very strong talent. Now you can see he is very strong.
That's true. I had a similar feeling for Ultra because from my old playing days, I remembered him, but always as okay, he's here, he's decent. But now I see, even this game, he had his macro on top, 7 factories, quite good micro, really decent unit placement. So basically, he was on top of the game, even though he lost this first engagement.
It's interesting because the first engagement only went south because he was fighting up like this small high ground, right? Because he's actually fighting up high ground. So if he was just in plain ground, I think he would probably win that without too much problem. So, yeah. Well, so that would be, as you said, we have 2 wins then for, how are the teams exactly? Because it's EUSA, so South America and I guess that's Europe, correct?
Europe, yeah, Europe.
Okay, yeah, because just in case I wanted to confirm. So we still have a lot of very strong players from both sides. I am very interested in seeing the 2v2 because I haven't seen many 2v2s lately in general. It's not something that people play a lot. But I do know that Ultra and Loccxito, I don't know that they do play 2v2s, and I do know that MadiNho plays 2v2s. I don't know about Voodoo, because I'm not sure about him. So that's going to be interesting.
Same here. Okay, so we are moving to the next game. Next game will be Ziki versus Gosudark.
Oof, that's going to be a hard game for Gosudark. For anybody playing against Ziki, it's always going to be a hard game because Ziki he's a monster when he's active. But I've seen Gosudark really do a lot of great games and really surprised me lately watching a tournament that I believe Zero was casting. So let's see how it goes. I know it's not easy.
I had the same impression. Yeah. Okay.
It's like, do you have this feeling that when you see somebody like Ziki and you know how consistently good somebody is, right? It's not that he sometimes is good. He always plays very well. Do you have that feeling that you always say, probably this is the player I think will win? Or do you think, the other player is maybe now getting better, he is improving, he might surprise us? How do you generally think?
Even back in days when I played a lot and Ziki was active, he was a huge monster. So each time I see Sziky playing, I know that it will be a great game and that he is really good, and not because for players like that who have a lot of experience being on top of in the tournaments, leagues, it takes a relatively small time to get back in shape. It's a week, two playing, and basically you're close to the level that you had prior to your break. So each time, like I said, each time I see Sziky playing, I know that he's doing great. Okay, but let's go back to the game. Sziky is the green Zerg in the bottom left of the map, whereas Gosudark is the Protoss in the top right corner of the map. So
I believe that it was overpull from Ziki, and we see a Forge first from Gosudark.
That's a good response to the overpull.
Especially, I think this map, in some maps, I have noticed that you can actually get away with Forge, Nexus, then Cannon. But I think on this map, it feels like you wouldn't get away with it. I wonder if Gosudark agrees with me, or if he's gonna try to risk the Nexus first. No, he goes for the Nexus first. Okay.
Depending on the distance between both mains, you more or less should make the cannon in the same moment when the Zerglings pop out.
Okay, and I think also you sometimes see when the larvae don't hatch all at the same time from the first three, that you can assume that it's going to be not 6 lings, but it's going to be lings and drones. So generally, because if you want to make lings, you want to make them all at the same time so that they all group up and go together as fast as possible. Whereas with the drones, you're just gonna build as fast as you have the money for it. So it feels like we are going to have, the cannon is going to be on time. 3 bases from Ziki, and here's for me how I see PvZ. The probe has to survive at least until the Stargate is finished. If it doesn't survive that much, it's almost impossible to read the Zerg. Now, this is Ziki, so I don't expect the probe to survive that long. But this is how I always think in my brain. I need to keep the probe alive for that long, because if not, I don't know how to prepare.
Especially that a lot of Zergs are currently doing the 973 or some variations of that build order. So this is a very important thing. And now we see 100 cast and from Sziky and the layer. So 350 layer. That's quite okay, and we have 70% of the cybercore ready. So
don't you take a second gas as a Protoss when your core is about 70%?
Depends. Maybe he will go for Desire, and Desire will be made only for scouting purposes, and then move to more speed links, speed lots. So then he doesn't need those extra this additional gas. He needs more money for the gateways.
Yes, I can see that. The thing that always also is very annoying for a Protoss at this stage of the game is that the Overlord basically sees everything. So it's very difficult to hide anything that you're doing, right, as a Protoss. I think that's why some Protoss even were putting a second gate in their natural, so that they could have something that is more difficult to see and guess. But Ziki is playing something that feels really, really standard, or at least what I would consider the economical standard style, which is the Spire, probably going to add 2 more hatcheries relatively soon. And it makes sense if he feels like he is, good enough to beat Gosudark normally. Maybe he doesn't need to try anything like a Hydra Bust.
That's true.
Hydra Bust, I believe, is a risk, correct? If the Protoss reacts properly, it doesn't really work. Like, you can stop it.
But there are a lot of factors that end up in reacting correctly. So how many cannons will make if you scout to check if he
drones, Hydras.
If he doing drones. So basically there are a lot of factors.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm just saying that if you do make that build and the Protoss is able to read it properly, I believe there is very little room for the Zerg to actually execute it and win with it. Just that the difficult part is for the Protoss to be able to actually do all of that. because it's not easy. Okay, we see a lot of drones of the natural already. Third already pretty well saturated. The fourth and fifth hatch is coming up online. And Muras.
Yeah,
Well, we do second gas, correct? So you see second
gas. You anticipate mutas, always.
Yes.
Always. 8 out of 10, I would say.
And the other one is Loccxito and drops, probably, right? Yes, it's like, okay, those two scourges should not connect, I believe. Will he? Yeah, I think he will be able to. Okay, one connects, the other one doesn't, because you really need you can't lose the coursers now. And even if you don't lose them, I think this is going to be really hard. I think this is a shield battery moment because against Ziki, I would not trust my micro with coursers.
Yeah, that's he's a monster with his mutas. And I learned that the hard way.
I like the zealots because you only split them. Send a few to the natural, send a few here. You don't want them. Okay, this is just going to attach. No, I don't necessarily agree with this.
But I think that the key point here is that he's buying time for the +1 for air weapons, for additional Corsairs, because if Ziki would attack at the point when he had right away, I believe that Gosudark didn't have any cannons in the covering the natural expansion mineral line, so that might cause some props dying. So this bought him some time, the time that he needed.
I would probably prefer to split the zealots and just send a few to the main, send a few to the natural, send a few to the third, and maybe try to snipe 1 or 2 drones, because it buys kind of the same time. But you also can save some zealots. If you have what you need, you can try to run with them, or you can try to do damage. This way, I feel it was a bit too expensive. Like that was a lot of zealots to lose.
Yeah, but look at the drone and probe count. Ziki has 6 workers more.
It's I don't want to say that that's like game already, but it's so hard to continue playing a game if you're down in workers with a Zerg at this point, because Ziki is probably going to take a 4th in the next 2 minutes, and I don't see the pros taking a 3rd in the next 2 minutes.
Especially that probably in a moment he will switch to Hydra, so the macro then will kick in. Oh, okay.
Nice control still. Gosudark doesn't lose anything. Very important right now. Wait, is he going for 2 Archons? He might be trying to make a push with us.
Yeah.
But the fact that he lost the first zealots means I don't think this works. So I can see why he maybe thinks that he doesn't want to play a long game against the Ziki, and he wants to some attack that has a chance to basically win the game. But you can just fly in with the mutas now, do damage in the domain, and defend with Sunkens and Hydras, right?
But we can see that Ziki switched to Hydras. So basically, I feel that pure Hydras, if they are upgraded, would kill currently the Focus Army. Oh,
I mean, it's just Hydras are too good. I'm just gonna say. No, it's extremely difficult to deal with somebody who's that good in macro, can produce that fast, can have a response ready for this, because
there was a window of chance, because this kind of push from time to time works. If Gosudark would be able to attack Ziki at the point right before his switch, then he might have dealt a lot of damage that might shift the game a little bit in his favor.
Yeah, I wonder though, because like not just the initial zealots, now you can see that some zealots are being segmented off. I don't think Storm is done, right? No, it's almost. No, oh wait,
it's almost done.
No, it's not almost done. Okay,
almost done.
It's almost GG. It's almost GG.
Almost GG. Okay.
Oh, I know the feeling. I know the feeling when you have the Storm being done a little bit too late, and you see that you're going to lose everything before your first Storm, and you have 2 options at that point: just wait and Storm for fun, or just say, okay, GG. I'm leaving because this is so.
But in a normal situation, when if Sziky wouldn't go for those mutas, Gosudark would have the Corsair to scout to check how many when he will be attacking. But the reason why he kept his army in place was the Mutas. He couldn't sacrifice one Corsair to additional scout because that might end up losing him the game.
Yes.
So that was really nice game, nice macro game by Ziki. I would like it to go a little bit longer, but taking into consideration that Sziky is really a beast, I think it ended up as predicted.
Yes, I will say though that I did like at least that Gosudark was trying to play, with the Corsairs, trying to find some damage. He scouted properly, so it's not like he was playing poorly or anything like that. It's just these small differences. This is one of the things. In other matchups, I don't feel you don't feel them that fast. In PvZ, I feel a small difference. Suddenly, it's like I'm losing everything. Like +1, for example. You don't get +1, and it's a horrible game from that point on if you lose the Forge to a Hydra push or something like this. So very, very kind of brittle, let's call it, matchup. At least for me, it is.
I loved PvZ when
I still love it. I just lose them.
That's true love. That's true love.
Yes. Well, that's I guess that you can call it that. That's the painful kind of love. Anyway, so the other question is because we have seen we have seen Bonyth win the PvP, we have seen Ziki win ZVP, and MadiNho win, and then on the other hand we have Ultra. So this is a 3-1 lead for Team EU. Right, so it's not going to be easy, especially because you still have the Dwalt against Dienmax, where most people would agree that the Dwalt is going to be the favorite. So it's not going to be easy at all for Team South America, right? It's going to be
same for SPX. SPX has really recently become really good.
Yes.
But I'm looking, for example, at his games with Bonyth. I'm always pleasantly surprised how good he's playing. So that might be also a solid point.
Yes.
I would like to see Goku versus Kwark. I feel that it might be a really nice game also. And on Heartbreak Ridge that I really like. So
all right, perfect then. SPX. Okay, we're gonna SPX. Also, one thing that I want to say about him is I don't know if you've noticed, but he didn't just get better. Like when he plays with Bonyth, one of the things you can notice is that he's actually like learning from game to game. I've seen like maybe 4 or 5 games in a row. He's switching up. He's changing things. So he's trying things playing against Bonyth, which is pretty impressive, right? Because you'd probably want your strongest against somebody like Bonyth, but no, he's still learning. He's still trying to figure out, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, I just remembered the game that they recently watched on Bonit's stream was against SPX, and SPX in fact was ahead in the game, but Bonit somehow miraculously came back to the game and killed SPX. SPX commented, "Disgusting." Second game, Bonit versus SPX, the same thing. I think Bonit won with 1 Reaver. SPX disgusting too, and it went on, and in both games I had the feeling that Bonyth is a little bit behind, and somehow so that shows that SPX is a really good player. There are just slight things that he needs to work on to be really brilliant, I feel.
And also, I guess if you're playing with somebody like Bonyth, right, because it's a hard opponent. So if you're playing with hard opponents all the time, you are going to get better very quickly, much faster than if you're playing with players who are at your level or maybe lower level. This is actually something that I always, when I chat with my friends in Brood War, they sometimes are upset because they're saying, "Oh, I'm losing, a bit too many games." And I always think to myself, well, that's probably the best thing that can happen to you if you want to get better. It doesn't feel good, right? But it's like medicine, basically, right? It doesn't. You don't take it because you like it. You take it to get better, right? So
no.
No?
in my case, I always I used to get get really tilted when I lost a game that I should have win. So for me, usually if I would lose a game that I was really 100% sure that I would win, I had to shut down a Brood War, go grab a beer or do something else just to calm down. So I was that kind of kid that got
I
really
see.
easily triggered by losing a game that I should have won. So quite often I didn't have many games on my accounts, or I had several of them, several accounts. So basically, like I say, I got really easily triggered.
Yes, I know what you mean. Although the thing is, I don't remember ever having this kind of feeling of getting really upset at something that I lost. But in Brood War, in other games, this does happen. But in Brood War, I don't think it ever happens.
No. Okay, let's move to the next game,
Okay.
and it will be.
So we're gonna have SPX versus JDonan. JDonan, I think it's.
JDonan on at good night. Yeah,
Oh, all right.
good night.
So good night.
This should be the last game. The last game. We could say then, good night, guys.
Well, yeah, I guess, but then if you have an ace match and then making a joke about circuit breakers is going to be very difficult. So I don't want to try it.
Okay.
Okay, so after that, we're also going to go into Dienmax versus Dwalt. That's cool. So on Aztec, perfect. Okay, so SPX versus JDonan on good night. This is going to be a what is it? A TVZ?
TVZ.
Yeah, I don't. My quality is kind of not the best. I don't see it perfectly, so the icons are not that visible. But yeah, I can guess basically, right? That
There are colors.
Yes, the colors. There are colors. Well, I
you could
am,
be colorblind, so
I am a little colorblind. Not for that, but so that I can see. That I can see.
Okay. Okay, let's move to the game. Zero, are we ready? Yeah, we
All
are.
right, let's go.
Okay. Good night. At top left corner of the map, we have JDonan, and on the top right side of the map, we have SPX as ZZZero. So I need to check this map because this is one of the new maps, and I can say that I didn't play a game on it, even a game. But I saw a lot of streamers, a lot of streams, Bonit and other people, some pro league. So I know the map.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the map in terms of TVZ?
Okay, honestly, first of all, TVZ, I generally don't know if how to guess if a map is good for mech or if it's good for bio. So I don't know that. And with that being said, I believe that most of these maps that we're seeing feel a bit more constricted than, for example, something like Fighting Spirit or your Neo Sylphid. That there's not that like bigger area in the middle that is so open that you can basically choose to engage there if it's possible. So I also have not played on these maps. I actually haven't played a single game on these new maps. I haven't had the chance at all. And I'll tell you that when I'm looking at the games, it feels like the other players also are having some of these issues. Like it's kind of looks like they don't know the map perfectly well, but some of the players like Dwalt, Bonyth, they do know some of the tricks. They know, okay, if I can go around this ramp, then I'm going to catch the army here. If I go, like we saw, for example, with an Ascension, Bonyth and Tech, correct? That ramp catch. So I feel like some of the players who are extremely active already know these things, but most of the players I feel don't actually get it yet. So SPX, I would expect him to have it, to have the knowledge of this map.
Okay, so SPX is going for a command center on the ramp before even a single Marine.
He did scout.
Yeah, he did scout. He knows what's going on, so he can anticipate. He can look. He will be able to see if those Zerglings, if those eggs are in fact Zerglings or drones. But I would anticipate that those have to be Zerglings, just in case of any shenanigans that the Terran player might be willing to do.
Yeah, because your Overlord takes a long time to get somewhere. If he can snipe your overload if you don't have enough Zerglings to defend it. There's a lot of possibilities for, or just a bunker push, basically, right? So there's a lot of things. Oh, okay, wow, that's interesting. I don't know with this style of first command center on the ramp, then the 2 barracks.
I think he started the command center before, or in more or less the moment that he scouted. So he wasn't sure what the Zerg player is doing. Oh, and the Zerg player doesn't know where SPX
Yeah.
is.
So he's only gonna now find out with that Zergling.
That will give additional time to.
He did see the command center, which is useful. However, did he see the second barracks? Because I don't know if he saw him. Okay, if he didn't see the second barracks, then okay, let's put it differently. Does XPX know that he didn't see the second barracks? Because I think that's the key, right? If you know that it's kind of hidden, you might be trying to make some push very quickly. If not, maybe you don't mind. This is very quick mutas, right?
Yeah, the 2 hatch muta and the second gas. So basically,
no drones on the natural. That's like a turbo muta, right? Or something like as fast as possible.
This is a sort of a muta all-in, so it needs to work. It needs to work. There is no recovering from this point.
And maybe that's why the double barracks, because when the lair was scouted by the city, right, that it was very quick. So maybe SPX just saw the lair being so quick and decided, okay, you know what, I do want to have more Marines because I might need them. No speed?
No, there is a speed.
Is there a speed? Okay.
There is speed. Yeah.
If there is speed, you have to respect it. If there is speed, you don't know how many links are behind this.
I really like the positioning of the Marines. So 3 next to the command center, the rest on the ramp. So
protecting each other. Yes.
Yeah. Really nice positioning.
I think that what I've seen people do is just put some additional, like a depot somewhere in the middle there for more wall like. But yeah.
Look, SPX moving out in exactly the same moment the first mutas are being made.
And now you need 2 sunkens because with 1 sunken you're dead. Right? Oh no, maybe with the mutas he can defend. So he probably will need the mutas and second. If I remember correctly, it's 1 medic per. Oh, nice run by to get at least some damage. Not gonna do a lot, but just basically doing a little bit.
Oh.
Okay, that's god, that's too fast. That was too fast. Is this map so small? Like it felt like he did start the sunken very quickly. Maybe I'm misreading this, but I thought we would make it in time. Okay, now can you still outmic us? How many mutas do we have?
Very injured mutas.
Okay, so you can't.
On the other hand, the Marines don't have range yet.
And medic has no energy basically because that's already. But
still.
Yeah, if you kill the hatchery and it's a
GG.
Yeah, all in muta, and you lose a hatchery at the natural, there's no way, right? You can't play that.
I wanted to really see the game fold out and.
All right, let's be clear. SPX again. We've been saying he has been improving so much and we've just basically seen
perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Just exactly knows when to attack. He even had like I think the fire bats at the ramp ready. So when the Zerglings went to the natural, he had that covered. So if this was just a Lingolin, he would still survive that. So it seems like he basically had pretty much everything figured out. Well, let's put it this way: not an easy opponent, this PX. So no shame to losing to. Also, trying to do 2-hatch muta is probably not a bad idea if you're playing against somebody that powerful.
On the other hand, we need to remember that this is Europe versus South America. The turn rate might cause some problems with the micro. So there are a lot of factors that need to be taken into consideration.
It's weird because I've noticed that sometimes there is like sometimes it isn't for me. So it's like when I'm playing with somebody from South America, like so I don't know. It's weird.
I was always surprised because sometimes I had the same. Quite often when I played people from South America, there was huge lag. But when I was back in the days in one team as Terror and we played a lot, there haven't been a single game with lag. So I was always surprised. At one point I told him that, okay, mate, you can be from Peru. There's no way the connection is too good. You're lying to me. But we were laughing. So yeah, but that the lag is a factor. We need to remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know if we get the next game ready, which I think it would be the Dienmax versus Dwalt on Aztec.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have it ready. All right. So next game, Dienmax versus Dwalt on the Aztec. Now PvP on Aztec. If I remember correctly, Dienmax likes three things. He likes DTs, he likes hidden expos, and he likes very aggressive 4 gates. That's what I remember from him. Now, that doesn't mean that's the only thing he plays, but those are the things that I remember because those are the ones that he did in games that I saw, and I just loved it. Now, Dawid, obviously, it's Dawid. It's Dawid, Bonit, and Ziki are on the same team. I don't think that's fair. Like, let's be honest, they are extremely active, they're extremely strong, and so it's going to be very difficult for anyone. But let's see what we can see from Dienmax and Dwalt. Okay, so we're going to be having Dwalt as the red Protoss at the, let's call it 9 o'clock location, and his opponent is going to be Dienmax as the blue Protoss at the 12 o'clock location. Okay, now Aztec is the one with the inverted ramp, right?
Yeah, that's
yes.
correct.
Now, 2 gates, hear me out, 2 gates into Dragoons, but only 3 Zealots, and you block the ramp, and then you go from there. What do you think?
That's...
if you can get kills...
it works on flat maps without any ramps, as we saw in the game, in Bonit's game. Of course, he played something a little bit different, but basically, this kind of play, 2 gates to later on Dragoons, works on flat maps, so this would be even better.
How do you, if you expect this to happen to you, right? You expect the opponent to go to 2 gates, you just counter with 2 gates, you do something else.
The best option, when I was playing, my standard counter was DTs, because defend and DTs, because you won't be able to have range, Dragoons, and Robo in time.
Okay.
It's just you don't have enough gas because the gas is delayed. And
yeah, I think usually, yeah, I know what you mean. You usually either go the cannons with this, and try to expand, or you generally stop making the zones very quickly. You only make like 3 to make sure that you have, the gas as fast as possible. So, well, let's see. Now the scouting is important. We have the one scouting in the wrong position first.
No, the Dwalt didn't scout.
No, okay. So on the minimap, I thought that was the Dwalt's pro, but okay.
The Dwalt is red.
Yeah, okay. Makes a lot of sense. I could have just checked the minimap.
Okay, so, but I'm surprised with the build of Dienmax. So, going gasless, or late gas, with the initial Zealot, it's quite surprising on a reverse map. Road map. Whereas the Dwalt is going standard.
Yeah, both are playing without worrying too much about the fact that this is a reverse ramp. So,
yeah, and both scouts were denied, so that's a good option for both players. Both players play in the dark.
While we have Dragoons. Now, this is one of the things that I always found very interesting. Zealots do build faster than Dragoons, right? So, but the Zealot is not as effective because you have to basically find a way to do damage with it when sometimes there is no way. So, because the Dragoons are just running away and shooting at you. So, what do you do with 2 Zealots? Why would you want to go with the second Zealot?
I have no idea. Maybe
Okay.
he was afraid of 2 gates. That was something that he might have been afraid of, and that's the reason behind the delayed gas, faster second zealot, and things like that. But I feel that he might try to Dienmax try to do some kind of 2-3 gate build. Okay, we have
It is good, right? In reverse ramp, if you manage to contain, if they have gone for something like a reaver, the shooting of the reaver is very annoying up the ramp.
Look at that! Look at.
Is it gonna? It's gonna.
Yeah, he made.
Oh my god!
That's a huge deal. Full scout.
Yeah.
Now Dwalt is able to decide what kind of option he's going for. So.
And he didn't even take hull damage, and that even only shield damage. So he's gonna run from this without any. Oh wait. Okay, because if he actually starts taking damage there, that would be pretty bad.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know. Like with a full scout. Okay, what? 4 gate? No, it's 4, right?
3.
That's a pylon. That's a pylon. Yeah. Okay.
Robo.
Oh, that's a robo. Okay, so 3 gate robo. So you could still use the reverse ramp somehow, but you don't have any scouting, so you do want to have army and detection. Okay. Now let's see if he's gonna expand really quickly or not, because obviously against 2 gate reaver, I believe you can't fight on your natural, right? That's almost a death sentence, because you have to. The opponent has to make a mistake. That you kind of have to have your units outside so that you can use the room somehow to out micro the reaver damage. So I don't know, if he doesn't scout this, it might be very difficult to stop. And he's just going ops. We don't see any additional tech yet. Because it's maybe with the obs he can find the army and the composition and try to get from an off angle. Sometimes that works. If the opponent doesn't react immediately, you can maybe snipe the shuttle and kill the reaver on the ground really quickly. And also, let's see what the Dwalt wants to do, because he doesn't necessarily have to go with the first reaver, right? He might wait for a first.
It's rather the case. He had
most people do it.
He had the full scout, so he knows that they're.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't need the observer.
Okay.
He knows that they're underneath BTs, so it's quite okay going that instantly when the river will pop up. And this is a really nice thing.
Wait, he's going up the small ramp?
He can go do a drop into the main, force the
Dragoons back,
and then move.
Yeah.
Okay, now he sees, and now he's going. Yeah.
Oh.
And he's engaging the unit.
Oh man. I know it's PvP, so I shouldn't be happy anyway, because one Protoss is winning, but it always hurts. Oh, and he's even gonna get the observer, right? Yeah.
This is basically game if Dienmax won't deal some kind of huge damage.
Which
to...
I don't see how.
Yeah, it's not possible. It's not possible. There's a Reaver that deals so ridiculous damage. What's going on? Oh, I was wondering why Zero zoomed in.
He was just I think Zero was just confirming that the Dwalt doesn't want to fight. He knows he's done enough damage and he's fine with it. He's saying, okay, I'm just gonna expand because I know basically I won. Yeah. That's what he's thinking. So I'm just not gonna throw the game. And I love the position of the Dragoons on the ramps, as you mentioned, because I did forget about the full scout, right? So yeah, you get a full scout, you're not worried about it, basically. So, I mean, let's be honest. In a normal situation, if you're playing a ladder game, you would probably still play this because you would still think I maybe can do the counter damage with my Reavers. I maybe can do out macro my opponent. When you're playing against somebody who's as good as the Dwalt, it's going to be very difficult to find room for that, right? You might do it, but it's going to be much harder than usual. So, because we can see the probe count, it was 17 to 24 or something like this. It's kind of getting closer, but again, that additional money that you already gained from the probes being there. Oh no, he's going to try to actually go up here.
I really liked the scout. So basically,
yeah.
Dienmax saw that Dwalt is going out. He decided to counterattack, but Dwalt scouted the
Yes,
counterattack.
that was with a probe, right?
Yeah, that was with the probe.
Yeah, very smart. Yeah, just constantly making sure he's not caught off guard, right? So just constantly. Although, let's be honest, if he attacks and the Dwalt counters, probably the Dwalt kills the Dienmax, and it's basically a base trade, because with the 2 Reavers in the shuttle, I don't see how you would stop this.
Yeah, but taking into consideration the level of Dwalt and how far ahead he is, he doesn't need to risk
yes.
any kind of move. He needs to just play it easy and just not make a mistake. That's the whole thing. Not make a mistake. Oh, nice micro. Nice micro.
You do want to be kind of careful. How low is the shuttle?
It's very low. Oh my god.
Oh, it has speed now.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh.
Wait, one more hit. Oh, okay. Both Reavers do land, and they are going to actually do damage into everything. What the? Everything is exploding suddenly, and the probes are just going through it. Oh man. Okay, he's gonna now be locked, right? In his main. So yeah, now the Reavers really can't do. Oh, okay. The Dwalt now knows that he is going to probably be able to win this. 2 Reavers though, and you're walking down a really annoying ramp.
Nice defense. It's really nice defense from the back. It's no lie.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is probably as good as it could have gone for the Dienmax.
Yeah.
Like, because the Dwalt was so focused on sniping the shuttle that he was, and the Dragoons at the back behind the gateways were not really capable of walking down. He even saves that last river. Okay, the supply is still tragic in probes, right? That's the tragedy, basically. But really nice defense by the Dienmax.
Yeah, that was really nice, especially that army from behind. It would be very good if it would come just a little bit sooner.
Yeah, so you could save both Reavers in the shuttle. Even then, I think it would be ridiculously difficult, because the amount of economy that the Dwalt has basically is just like, now it's already exploded, right? Now you're playing against, you're playing against 2 Protosses right now, basically.
The amount of probes, it's doubled.
Wait for it, it's gonna be tripled. Oh, nice, very quick pull. I mean, the biggest issue is that you don't even have a nexus to go to with those probes, so every time you do have to run, they are not even gathering anything. So even that is slowing you down even more. So I gotta say that the Dwalt, I can just walk in, I can just kill you, and lost quite a lot. So yeah, luckily he's really far ahead. So, and let's see. So the army for Dienmax. I mean, what are you trying to do with the army if you're Dienmax, right?
Dwalt is doing making 7 goals in one wave. It's more or less the same number that is currently in front of his base.
Oh, okay, that's well, I mean, you want to cancel that Nexus anyway at this point, so you cancel the Nexus. I guess you counter and you cancel the Nexus, and then but how do you defend, right?
But let's see the counter.
Okay. There is no shuttle for that Reaper, so whoa.
And there is no shuttle for that Reaver.
Yeah, he went a little bit too far with that. Although that Scarab, if it connects, is actually very strong. But so now the Dwalt is attacking, correct? Yes. Okay. Because I was looking at this thinking, there is no way the Dwalt is just looking at this saying, "Huh, you know what? I'm just gonna wait." Oh, and he brings back the Reavers in the distance. Okay. Yeah. He did have the speed shuttle, obviously, so that's fairly good. Yeah.
GG.
Man, I will say this. Dwalt did a bit of a weird attack there, going down that ramp. He thought he could just win this, and Dienmax punished him for it, but that was not enough. Too much of a lead. And honestly, I mean, it's very difficult to catch somebody like the Dwalt and, off his tempo. The scouting on the counters, every place where there could be a counter was always there for the Dwalt. And that first probe had no right getting into the main.
True. That gave a lot of insight to Dawid, so he was able to switch slightly his build order. He knew that he didn't have to make an observer fast, so that meant that he could go directly Reaver and attack with the first Reaver would happen a little bit faster than it would happen with the observer. Yeah, basically.
And the drop to the main, right? Like the
Yeah.
12 o'clock, the fact that you can push and at the same time go in and out with the Reaver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an unfavorable position spawn for Dienmax. Yeah.
All right, so.
Okay, so Goku appeared a little bit too late, right? So
Each.
do we have any more games left for us? Zero. Oh, so guys, this was a really.
This is a pretty quick one, and
Yeah,
it seems like no, we don't have any more games.
Yeah, Zero just told us that there will be no 2v2 and no Goku versus Kwark, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's sad.
So we had only 6 games today, but it ended up 5-1. Some really nice games, and that's that.
Yeah, so thank you all for watching, and I hope you continue watching the BSL cast, because there you can see that there's been actually quite a lot of them. Keep an eye on this, because there have been through the week, now in the weekends, so there's a lot of Brood War content, and obviously, you might catch something that you like more, something that you like less. You can choose which ones you actually want to watch, but keep an eye on that, because you can Team Liquid or obviously subscribe to the channel for Zero, so that you get information when he's live, and you will at any point be able to check it out. And of course, any kind of support that you can, guys, give is always appreciated. And thanks to Esport Fund as well. Obviously, we should always shout outs for those who do allow us to make this content. So that would be it from me, and thank you very much for being here with me today.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Katspa, for the stream cast, and see you guys. Probably next week or the week after. We'll be here. Take care.
See you guys.